Very good. Yes, I hope everyone today so far is having a delightful day. Mark kind of took that from the beginning, but I'm still gonna go with it. Secondly, I'm gonna, I guess, say a brief history. I did a lot of research last night on my favorite website, Wikipedia. It says that a fork in the road is a metaphor for a deciding moment in our lives which multiple options coexist and one has to be made. We have to decide to go down a particular path. There's also a Russian folk tale, according to them, that talks of a Russian knight on horseback coming up to a monolith, and it's stating if you go to the left, you'll lose your horse. If you go to the right, you'll lose your head. I don't know about you guys, but it seemed to have made a decision for me. If I was him, I'd rather lose my horse than my head, psychologically or physically. So I thought that was pretty interesting. Okay, so the reason for the fork in the road, the fork in the road, the choices that we make in life, they're not just events, and this is everyday choices. They actually lead us in a direction that send us down a path to a destination. And that's pretty crucial to understand because they could be wise choices and they can be simple or naive, immature choices. Oftentimes, it may not be where your intentions are, it may not be where you're intending to go. You don't realize it. A lot of times you act in the moment, and next thing you know, you're asking yourself, how did I get here? Direction, not intention, determines destination. And those directions, like I said, were the choices that we make. So I'm going to say it one more time because it's really important. Direction, not intention, determines destination. So where are we? We each have our own destinations. We each have our own goals in life. Denzel Washington, I don't think this has any relation to it, but I'm just going to say it because I think it's really cool. I don't think he coined it necessarily, but he said, dreams without goals are just dreams. So you have to work towards your goals. Goals can be your destination. But we need to be wise. There are two types of people. There's the wise and also the simple, the naive. I'm gonna say naive. The wise, they look at the multiple options that they've got, the multiple choices, and they don't look at necessarily the moment. They look at also what precedes that, the future, whether it's later on that day, the next day, years down the road. So they go through a different thinking process than the naive. The naive typically lives in the moment, which sometimes I enjoy doing. Being spontaneous, that's something I thrive on. My wife does not, unfortunately. But that's also a good thing too to learn as we grow. We need to have plans. The naive just live in the moment and they don't think about the consequences that may happen years down the road. The difference between the two is that the wise see danger and they adjust. They choose to go on a different path. They choose for it not to become habitual. The simple do not. They keep going business as usual. But there's a quote from an artist that I listen to. I'm going to say it. It means a lot to me. Um, as if you're in the simple-minded state. He said, "I wish I could take parts of my past, hold on to the good, and throw the rest in the trash." Every naive decision we make, I'm sure we look back and think, why did I do that? You can't get that back. So, how do you get back on the right path if you're down the wrong path? And there's two ways that I know. You can talk to someone who has been through some pain and those wiser people. One of my best friends at church, he's 70 years old. He's been through a lot. I consider him a wise person. And you can talk to them before you go down that road, or you learn through experience in which you make that change. You learn to do something to get back. And lastly, not lastly, but we are always on a continuous search for happiness, whether that's down the road or right in front of us in the moment. We need to be wise about it. Our eyes are deceitful, and a lot of times, like we as a human species are very good at rationalization and justifying even the simple decisions that we do are actually wise, and they're not. So, if there's anything that I want you to take away from this, is that every choice we make leads us down some path, and paths lead us somewhere. Is that where you want to be? And if it's not, you need to do something about it. So I'm gonna ask y'all to do something. Y'all should all have a fork, right? Okay, I'm gonna get mine. Mine's pretty big. So this is my pastor's. I asked him to borrow it. So so just kind of hold it up. There's some valuable information about this that I would like for you guys to know. First of all, you can eat with it. Secondly, it can also be used as a weapon, especially this thing. This thing is super heavy, um, that way or that way. And but most important, I've thought about this, and it's very loose. And I may be wrong, but this is the way I'm kind of looking at it. What you're holding right now, it can be looked upon metaphorically as your future and who you'll become. Because every road, we've got multiple paths. And at that crossroads, we've got a decision. So y'all, it's y'all's fork. Y'all can do what y'all want to with it. If you want to put it at your desk, and just as a gentle reminder to try to make wise choices for whatever you're trying to seek out, maybe to help you to not go down the wrong path. Mr. Toastmaster.